Senate Bill 107, a California bill, would allow children being denied puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, or gender surgeries to be taken custody. A bill would give the state of California the authority to take custody of those children to facilitate that reassignment. Here is California Senator Weiner talking about this issue.
So for anyone saying this takes away parental rights, that is a completely frivolous, made-up argument. We're protecting these families literally from states that are saying, if you parent make a decision about your kid's health care, you're going to prison.
And the reason he's saying that the issue of parental rights is a completely frivolous issue is because it is not a completely frivolous issue. But here to talk about it more with me is Greg Burt. He's the Director of Capital Engagement for the California Family Council. Greg, welcome to Washington Watch.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Good to see you. You heard a bit there from Senator Weiner. You've been tracking this bill there in California. What do people know about it that I may have not yet described?
Well, how Senator Weiner is actually describing the bill, what's happening is states around the country realize that transgender drugs, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries that are maiming young women and men, this is being done on minors, right, to transition them, to make their bodies match their feelings. And states around the country now are finally realizing this is bad for kids and they're outlawing it. Well, California wants to become a sanctuary for parents, kids to come to California to get those drugs and surgeries, right? And of course, Senator Weiner is acting like this is a bill to protect parental rights, and so that's how he's portraying it. Yeah. But the bill, what it also does is if a minor makes it to California, even is brought here by someone who is not their custodial parent, yeah, California will allow the courts to take jurisdiction of their child temporarily so they can get these maiming treatments. And so this is really a threat to the entire country.
Greg,
right? California is now declaring war on parenthood.
Yeah, Greg, I want to get some clarification on there because it talks
Sure.
about emergency temporary jurisdiction. And typically in custody disputes, and we've seen cases of this where the court will award custody of the child to one parent over another parent because of a disagreement about this issue. But is this actually the state taking custody essentially of the child?
Well, it's both. It authorizes the state to take custody, but it also authorizes the state to give custody to the non-custodial parent. I mean, just to give you an idea of what this is doing, this is Alliance Defending Freedom who put together a legal memorandum, and they put some instances here about scenarios that could happen. And here's one of the scenarios. An unfit parent about to lose custody could travel to California with their child, give the child puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones, and in doing so, win custody under SB 107, even if the home state has already entered a judgment against that parent. So does that answer your question?
Yes. I mean, and there are so many potential and strange issues. And you mentioned the fact that this would be California claiming custody over children who don't live in California and claiming superiority over the custody decisions of courts in other states involving people who live in other states. So from a legal perspective, there's a full faith and credit issue that certainly this bill would be challenged in court on that and many other grounds, I presume. But where is this bill at in the process?
Well, this bill is what they call a gut and amend, meaning when it was through in the Senate, it was a completely different bill. But once it got to the Assembly, the author, his name is Senator Weiner, a Democrat out of San Francisco, he completely gutted the bill and put in brand new language. So the bill has now been through 3 different hearings, is overwhelmingly supported by the Democrats. Next week, we expect the bill to go to the floor of the Assembly, and then it will go to the Senate. So this thing is sailing through, and I would we need other states to raise alarm. Governors, attorney generals, they need to call out that this bill is a direct threat to the parents in their states.
You know, Greg, we've seen recently several European nations back away from gender reassignment surgeries for minors and specifically say, we're not going to do this anymore because we haven't seen evidence that this is actually helpful to children. But what the state of California proposes to do with this legislation is say that any parent who holds that position, which is becoming the scientific consensus in Europe, that's grounds for losing custody because that parent would be a de facto threat to their child, and therefore there's an emergency. Do the legislators in California know that, or do they just not care?
I don't know. We've been trying to tell them. Sadly, a lot of the major medical organizations are in support of this type of treatment for kids with gender dysphoria. Sadly, there are way too many doctors who know that this is bad for kids, but because if they speak up, it could ruin their careers, they're silent. And so all the major medical organizations who have any clout, they're promoting this as the way to help kids. And the legislators are taking advantage of that. They're hiding behind those doctors. So we need doctors to speak up, right? This silence is killing us and it's hurting children.
Yeah. A lot of people need to speak up, but Greg, we thank you for coming today and speaking up and encouraging other people to do so. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much.